Hey, welcome to a new video. Have you ever looked at a product in the supermarket at its logo and thought it was actually inappropriate? There's someone behind the scenes making the decision to use certain characters or names that are no longer accepted today. Since 2020, everything changed, and people demanded justice from these products. Today, we'll show you 20 controversial food products that had to be adjusted. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. Number 20. Eddie's parent company, Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream, decided to change the name of their Eskimo Pie ice cream bars due to concerns about cultural sensitivity. This decision came after global protests from the Black Lives Matter movement, an international movement against anti-black racism. Many companies are currently revising their logos, themes, and marketing strategies to address problematic elements. The Eskimo Pie ice cream bar was first patented in 1922 by Christian Kent Nelson from Ohio and his business partner Russell C. Stover. It was originally conceived to help a boy who couldn't decide between ice cream and a chocolate bar. Nelson and Stover found an ingenious way to cover ice cream with a melted chocolate, thus inventing the Eskimo Pie. However, the term Eskimo in the product name is now widely considered inappropriate and also offensive to the Inuit and Yupik people of Alaska. Many view this term as colonial and imposed by non-indigenous people. The new name, Eddie's Pie, was chosen as a tribute to one of the company's founders, Joseph Eddy. Number 19. Some time ago, turners and growers decided to rename Chinese gooseberries to kiwi fruit. In 1904, the first kiwi fruit seeds were brought to New Zealand by Mary Isabel Fraser, the principal of Wanganui Girls College. She had collected these seeds during her visits to mission schools in China. The seeds were planted in 1906 by Alexander Allison, a grower from Wanganui. And in 1910, the kiwi fruit vines began to bear fruit. Since these fruits tasted somewhat like gooseberries, people initially called them Chinese gooseberries. But let's go back to the 1950s during the Cold War. New Zealand tried to export these delicious fruits to the United States. They thought about calling them melonets, but American importers didn't like the idea due to high import duties on melons and berries. Then in June 1959, during a meeting of turners and growers in Auckland, a man named Jack Turner came up with the idea to call them kiwi fruit. And the idea stuck. Te Puke, a town in the Bay of Plenty region where New Zealand's kiwi fruit industry began, proudly calls itself the kiwi fruit capital of the world. Number 18. After intense criticism for using a derogatory depiction of a black woman, Aunt Jemima underwent a complete transformation. The brand is now renamed the Pearl Milling Company and features a new name, logo, and overall look. Aunt Jemima was one of the first brands to announce that they would change their name amidst the massive protests over George Floyd erupting in the United States. The brand was originally founded in 1889 by two individuals named Chris Rutt and Charles Underwood. In 1933, the company enlisted the help of a black woman named Anna Robinson to portray the character of Aunt Jemima. In the 1950s and 1960s, the character was later portrayed by actress Aileen Lewis. In 1989, the company attempted to modernize Aunt Jemima's image by giving her pearl earrings and a lace collar, which they described as a contemporary look. When PepsiCo acquired the brand in 2001, they said the brand represented loving mothers from diverse backgrounds who strive for the best for their families. The name Pearl Milling Company honors the original mill established in 1888, which began producing self-rising pancake flour in 1889. Whether people saw the old logo as maternal or racist depends on their own perspective. However, the new name and branding are intended to leave this controversy behind and create a more inclusive image. Number 17. Knorr, the German food company owned by Unilever, has decided to change their name of their popular gypsy sauce due to concerns about the name. The new name for the sauce is Hungarian paprika sauce. This decision was made as a part of a broader trend among brands after a wave of protests that took place in August 2020, targeting discrimination and inequality. However, the name change has a deeper historical context. During the Nazi regime, the Sinti, who lived in Germany for centuries, were subjected to forced sterilization based on their racial purity laws. Additionally, Roma individuals were deported to Nazi camps, where they had to wear uniforms with a Z for Zigeuner, which is German for gypsy. The decision to change the name of the sauce has been positively received by Central Council of German Sinti and Roma. Number 16. In 2020, Nestle announced that they plan to rename and redesign yet another product due to concerns about the insensitive nature of the name. It involved a series of candies sold in Colombia under the name Baso de Negra, which translates to Kiss of a Black Woman. The decision was part of a larger review of the Nestle portfolio, which included more than 2,000 brands and 25,000 products. This review came in response to growing awareness of inappropriate brand names and visual language. Nestle emphasized in a statement that they're committed to ensuring that their brands are in line with their values and corporate culture. Therefore, they decided to rename and redesign some local brands containing stereotype images or insensitive cultural references. Baso de Negra, the candy sold in Colombia, was one of the brands slated for immediate changes. This Nestle review was not limited to Colombia, but also extended to other regions. Number 15. In Dutch supermarkets, you could previously find a popular treat known as Jodenkoeken. These are large, flat, round shortbread cookies with a diameter of about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. The name has been used since the 19th century, but the origin of the name is not entirely clear. The popularity of Jodenkoeken is partly attributed to a baker who was from the Netherlands. The Stam Bakery in Alkmaar started selling these cookies in 1883, and in 1924, Guy Verhoeven took over the bakery. Through local newspaper advertisements and distribution in other stores, Verhoeven's version of this cookie quickly became a beloved product. However, the company continues to produce these cookies to this day, but under a different name. The company behind the Jodenkoeken announced that they would change the name of this treat to promote a more inclusive society. Therefore, the name was changed to Odekoeken. Number 14. Coon cheese, formerly known by that name, is an Australian cheese brand associated with a variety of cheddar cheese. It's produced by the company Warren Bull Cheese and Butter, primarily owned by the Canadian dairy company Saputo Inc. The cheese was originally introduced as Red Coon by Kraft Walker Cheese Company, a partnership between Fred Walker and James L. Kraft around 1931. In October 1949, Kraft Foods Inc. registered the trademark Coon for cheese with the U.S. Patent Office, claiming the use since 1910. However, the decision to change the name came after calls were made due to concerns about its offensive nature and negative impact on people of color. The new name, Cheer Cheese, was chosen to express a sense of joy and positivity. Cam Bruce, the company's commercial director, stated that the packaging would remain similar to the current branding, and that the recipe would remain unchanged. He also emphasized that the cheese would be produced locally in Victoria, using Australian milk to support local dairy farmers. Number 13. Nestle, the Swiss company, has recently taken steps to rename a well-known candy product in Australia that they believe has connotations not in line with their values. In a statement issued in 2020, Nestle announced that Allen's Red Skins would be renamed to Red Ripper. Complaints about the names of these products have been raised in recent years. The word Redskin, used for Allen's Redskins, is considered a derogatory slur for Native Americans. However, an unintended connection has arisen regarding the renaming of Redskins to Red Ripper. True crime enthusiasts have noticed that the Red Ripper is a notorious name given to a Russian serial killer. It appears that Nestle inadvertently adopted a name that bears resemblance to this infamous criminal. Several individuals have criticized Nestle for what appears to be an oversight in not recognizing this association prior to rebranding. Number 12. A moorkop is a traditional Dutch delicacy, consisting of a protofoe filled with whipped cream and covered with white or dark chocolate. Often, whipped cream, a slice of mandarin, or a piece of pineapple is also placed on top. However, to align with changing sensitivities, the popular retail chain Hema decided for March 30th, 2020 to no longer use the name Moorkoppen. Instead, they will be called chocolate balls, while the product itself remains unchanged. Hema stated that the decision to rename the pastry stems from the desire to have a name that is more in line with the current times. The Dutch Bakers Association, NBOV, explained that the discussion about the use of the name Moorkop is relatively new, and that individual bakers can decide whether or not to implement the change themselves. Number 11. In 2020, Land O'Lakes took steps to redesign its packaging, even before many other brands on this list announced their own rebranding plans. As part of celebrating its 100th anniversary, Land O'Lakes unveiled a new design intended to better reflect its story as a farmer-owned company. A significant change was the removal of the image of a Native American woman named Mia, who had long been depicted on their products. The new packaging features a serene portrait of a lake surrounded by trees, representing Land O'Lakes, along with the phrase farmer-owned. The original image of Mia, created by illustrator Arthur C. Hansen, first appeared on Land O'Lakes labels in 1928. However, Mia was depicted in a stereotypical manner, dressed in traditional attire and holding a dairy product. Over the years, the depiction drew criticism for its portrayal of indigenous people, with many considering it a racist objectification. In the 1950s, an artist named Patrick recreated Mia in an attempt to promote a sense of Native American pride in the Midwest. Despite the controversies, Mia remained a subject of discussion since her debut. Land O'Lakes rebranding was seen as a step to be more respectful and inclusive in their packaging and marketing. Number 10. Dickinson Dining Services decided to change the popular flavor called Plantation Mint to the name Perfectly Mint. Several individuals had expressed concerns about the name of the tea and its potential racial connotations. Errol Huffman, the director of the dining services, indicated that this decision to no longer offer this specific tea was based on sensitivity and the potential association with the name. There was also multiple discussions about acknowledging the impact of the tea's name, given the history of the United States. The name Plantation Mint is said to have been named more than 50 years ago by the current CEO's mother. The name was influenced by the mother's love for tea gardens around the world, which are still referred to as plantations. Number 9. Streets, an ice cream manufacturer, addressed rumors about a possible name change for the iconic Australian ice cream product Golden Gaytime. Speculation arose when an Aldi customer discovered that packs of the ice cream were being sold under a different name, Cookie Crumble. Some people thought the name change was related to political correctness. However, a spokesperson for Streets clarified that Cookie Crumble is the name used for the same ice cream product in New Zealand. And the spokesperson emphasized that there are no plans to change the name of Golden Gaytime in Australia. They also stated that the meaning behind the name has remained unchanged since its introduction in 1959. The company acknowledged that cultures and languages have evolved over time, but that Golden Gaytime ice cream is intended for everyone to enjoy, regardless of their identity or who they love. Number 8. Dixie Beer, founded in 1907, has a long history as one of the oldest beer brands in the United States. It's had multiple owners and faced challenges, including a period when it was not brewed in its home state of Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. As a result, the current version of Dixie Beer has changed significantly from its original form over a century ago. In November 2020, Dixie Beer announced they would adopt a new name. The new name, officially launched in early 2021, is Fallborg Brewing Company. For those unfamiliar with New Orleans terminology, the name honors the city's diverse neighborhoods. Fallborg is a French word commonly used in New Orleans to mean neighborhood. Gail Benson, the businesswoman behind the brewery, who also owns the New Orleans Pelicans basketball team, played a crucial role in building a new brewery to replace the one destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. This effort brought the production of Dixie Beer back to its origins in the vibrant city of New Orleans. During the process of choosing a new name, Fallborg Brewing Company consulted numerous individuals from various sectors, including hospitality workers, historians, and beer enthusiasts, and received over 5,400 name suggestions online. Number 7. Chuckies, formerly known as Chico's, is a chocolate-like jelly candy similar to Jelly Babies. Unlike the colorful Jelly Babies, however, Cheekies are all dark brown and have a cocoa flavor. In June 2020, Nestle, the company behind Cheekies, announced that they would change the name of this candy to reflect the inclusive nature of modern society. The decision to change the name was made to ensure that nothing they do would marginalize their friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Nestle emphasized their values are rooted in respect, and that existing names had connotations that were not in line with these values. The word Chico in Spanish translates to boy. Although it's not commonly used in Australia as a derogatory term for people of Latin American descent, it could have such implications. In November 16, 2020, Nestle announced that Cheekies would be the new name for the candy, and packaging with the updated name was available in stores in early 2021. Number 6. Ben's Original, formerly known as Uncle Ben's, is an American brand offering rice and related food products. The brand was originally introduced by Converted Rice Inc., now owned by Mars Inc. Uncle Ben's rice quickly gained popularity after its launch in 1943 and remained the best-selling rice in the United States until the 1990s. It also benefited from the rich history of rice and African American food culture and rice production in the country. From 1946 to 2020, the packaging featured an image of an elderly African American man with a bow tie, reportedly based on a Chicago man named Frank Brown. The name Ben could have been inspired by a shrewd rice farmer from Houston. However, Mars stated that it was uncertain if there was really someone named Ben. According to Mars, Uncle Ben was an African American rice grower, known for the quality of his rice. The name Uncle Ben's was chosen by Gordon L. Harwell, an entrepreneur who supplied rice to the military during World War II. In 2007, the brand's image was transformed through a new advertising campaign. The redesigned packaging became widely available in the United States from June 2021. This rebranding was carried out to give a brand a more contemporary and respectful image. Number 5. The controversial treats known as Negerzonen in the Netherlands and Negerkäse in Germany have sparked much discussions due to their derogatory names and packaging with racial connotations. The origin of these treats dates back approximately 200 years in Denmark, and they have spread throughout Europe. Recently, the Finnish chocolate maker Brunberg announced that they would change their packaging of their chocolate kisses to remove stereotypical images. The companies both changed the names of these candies. The packaging depicted images of two figures looking African kissing each other, with one of them carrying a drum. Instead, Brunberg will now show an illustration of the skyline of Porvoo, the old town where the candy company was founded in 1871. This is not the first time a Finnish confectionery company has faced controversy over images considered racist. In 2007, Fraser, another Finnish company, announced plans to retire the mascot of one of its products. The mascot depicted a black figure with exaggerated red lips and cornrows, reminiscent of blackface caricatures. This demonstrates that companies are becoming increasingly aware of sensitivities around racial issues and striving for more inclusivity. Number 4. The Frito Bandito was a cartoon mascot for Frito's corn chips, prominently featured in advertising campaigns from 1967 to 1971. However, the character and the way it was portrayed was problematic, due to the stereotypes it enforced. The Frito Bandito spoke broken English and was depicted as a Mexican bandit engaging in robbing people of their Fritos corn chips. This contributed to the stereotype of the Mexican bandit, often seen in Western films, perpetuating negative depictions of Mexican people. The design of the Frito Bandito was created by Tex Avery, a renowned animator who worked on many famous cartoon characters. The character wore a sombrero, had a holster with 2 guns, a gold tooth, stubble, and a long, menacing-looking mustache. The voice of the Mexican bandit was provided by Mel Blanc, a legendary voice actor known for his work on characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig. Ultimately, the Frito Bandito was retired in 1971 due to the increasing criticism of the character. 2 new mascots were introduced as replacements. The Mucha Bunch, a group of cowboys, and W.C. Fritos, a character inspired by comedian W.C. Fields. Number 3. The debate over whether the old Mrs. Butterworth's syrup bottle resembles a grandmother may be subjective and depends on individual interpretations. While some people may view the appearance of the bottle as innocent and grandmotherly, others have associated it with the mammy stereotype. Mammy historically has been a derogatory and stereotypical depiction of black women as maids and caregivers in the United States. Conagra, the American holding company of packaged consumer goods, acknowledges that some consumers might perceive the packaging as racist. They've thus decided to conduct a brand review, suggesting that there was at least some concern about how the packaging was being interpreted. It's a positive step that companies like this are willing to listen to feedback and concerns from consumers and are willing to make changes to align with modern values. Number 2. B&G Foods' decision to remove the image of the black chef from the cream of wheat packaging seems to stem from the potentially offensive connotations the image may evoke. Additionally, he was depicted as an uneducated cook with no knowledge of vitamins. Although the character has evolved somewhat over the years and undergone changes, the original basis for the character was quite problematic. The decision to remove the image demonstrates a greater awareness among companies about the need to revisit culturally and racially sensitive imagery. B&G Foods has taken consumer feedback and concerns quite seriously, and is willing to take steps to revise and change their brand as necessary. Number 1. The evolution of the Miss Chiquita character demonstrates that Chiquita Banana is aware of the need to adapt and change to societal norms and expectations. Miss Chiquita was originally a sexualized banana character, but it's understandable that such representations are now considered quite inappropriate. The fact that the company has transformed and adapted the character over the years is a positive step to removing derogatory elements. Removing stereotypes and presenting the character as a human woman rather than a sexualized banana is a clear improvement. However, it's important for Chiquita Banana to continue evaluating whether further adjustments are needed to ensure that the character is no longer offensive or stereotypical. Have you ever eaten any of these controversial foods? And what do you think about the fact that they had to change? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.